All rise. Sullivan County Commission meeting in session. John Gordon presiding.
Thank you, Corporal Joyner. Welcome to the September 2024 work session of the Sullivan County Commission. I invite everyone to remain standing through the end of the pledge, delivered by Corporal Joyner, but first, our invocation by Commissioner Harvey. Mr. Harvey, if you would.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this time of the year. What a beautiful time. We're grateful for so many of your blessings. We're grateful to be in the greatest country in the world, the greatest state, and the greatest county. And Lord, as we know each and every one of us are here today for a reason, for a purpose, and we pray, God, that you guide us through that purpose, that you give us wisdom and favor in making decisions, that we will love one another, trust one another. Thank you for your guidance and your love. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
When the board opens, please record your presence. Has every member recorded their presence? Madam Clerk.
17 present, 7 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have a quorum. First order is resolution to consider amendments to the Sullivan County zoning plan sponsored by Commissioner Cowton and myself. I move introduction of the resolution. If there's any discussion on the zoning resolution before we put it on the board. Without objection, please cast your vote when the board opens. Has every member voted? Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
17 yes, 7 absent.
Commissioner Cross, is there a public comment sheet up for that's related to zoning?
I don't think it's separated, so.
Having received the necessary majority of the votes cast, item 1 is approved. Recognize Mrs. Torbett in the well for explanation on amendment number 1. And if you're here to speak on amendment number 1, please let us know. And if anyone has any questions for any of the applicants, let's let Mrs. Torbett do her part, and then we'll hear from anyone that wishes to speak on it. Then we'll open up for questions. So, recognize Mrs. Torbett.
Okay, thank you so much. We have 2 cases to present to you today, individual rezoning requests. The first one went to Bristol Regional Planning Commission. You should have in your packet our pictures as well as their staff report. This request is from Mr. Brian Glover. He recently purchased the property on Bristol Caverns Highway, and Okay, that's fine. Yes, thank you. On your zoning map, his request is to rezone the property from A1, general agricultural, to R2A, which is medium density residential, in order to renovate the old chapel and fellowship hall into a duplex. You may recall that a previous applicant, not Mr. Glover, but a previous person wanted to purchase this church property and get it rezoned to commercial, which was not recommended due to it being a spot zoning. On the screen, you have the existing zoning map on the left and the land use plan map on the, or I'm sorry, the zoning map is on the right, as you can see, and the land use plan is on the left. Land use plan is in favor and supports this medium density. You have a lot of small lots out there. You have some single wides, modulars. There was some opposition. One lady called me, that's in the staff report, and I was told there was some opposition from folks that came to the Bristol Planning Commission. However, Bristol staff and the Bristol Regional Planning Commission voted unanimously to send you a favorable recommendation. Mr. Glover is here if you have any questions for him.
You've heard the explanation on the amendment. Anyone seeking recognition on the amendment? Commissioner Cross.
This is just a point of clarification. I was looking at my map and that map. Can you go back to that map if you don't mind? What is the blue?
The blue is the floodplain.
Floodplain.
Yes,
Okay, 'cause
sir.
I didn't see water on here, so.
Yeah, no, it is a floodplain. It's actually a natural drainage. And in the pictures, you'll see when there's two driveways into the property because it's sort of a corner lot situation. So two access points in there, and the structures, see where the black arrow is? That's where the structures are. So they are fully outside the floodplain, but there's a natural ravine that, the driveway has to cross.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Anyone else seeking recognition? Questions for Mrs. Torbett? Mrs. Torbett, would the applicant like to address the commission?
You
More
can if you
than
have.
welcome to.
Okay.
Up to you, sir.
Sure.
You will introduce yourself, and before you leave, if you could provide your address with the clerk, we'd appreciate it, sir.
All right, thank you. Brian Glover, and like she said, I am the recent purchaser of the church. It's a needed area. A lot of people like to live in the rural areas. There's not a lot out there. I'm just trying to meet a need of people that's wanting to live out by South Holston and turn that into a duplex. I think the people around there can already tell that I've cleaned up the property, put a roof on and gutters, and took a dilapidated building and already making it look really nice. My intentions are not to come in and change anything, just amplify the community where it's already at. So that's my intentions, and I hope that you guys will see it that way as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Glover? Doesn't look like it, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Mrs. Torbett, recognize you for final word on the amendment.
But that's all I have unless you have any questions. I did include some pictures of the property.
Anyone else from the gallery wish to speak on this particular amendment? Without objection, when the board opens, please cast your vote on amendment number 1. Has every member voted? Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
17 yes, 7 absent.
Having received the necessary majority of the votes cast, amendment number 1 is adopted. Without objection, Mrs. Torbett on amendment number 2.
Okay, thank you so much. In your packet and on the screen, our second request went to Kingsport's Regional Planning Commission, so you have their comprehensive staff report in your packet. This request is from Mr. Baker, and this is on Old Fall Creek Road, which is a cut through right off Memorial Boulevard. On the right-hand side is the zoning map. It's currently zoned planned business. All these lots were zoned planned business in the beginning, and then some have been rezoned over the years. On the left is the land use plan, and as you can see, the land use plan supports this request to rezone it back to R1 for single family. Again, it went to Kingsport Planning Commission. There was no opposition, and they are forwarding you a unanimous favorable recommendation.
You've heard the explanation on amendment number 2. Is there any questions from the commission for Mrs. Torbett? Mrs. Torbett, would the applicant like to speak to the commission on the amendment?
I don't see him, so I guess not.
Was there anyone that signed public comment for this particular amendment? Commissioner Means, I'll recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to say this is in our district, and I give it a favorable recommendation. So, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Means. Anyone else seeking recognition on amendment number 2? Does anyone in the public wish to comment on amendment number 2? Seeing none, without objection, when the board opens, please cast your vote on amendment number 2. Has every member voted? Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk?
17 yes, 7 absent.
Having received the necessary majority of the votes cast, amendment number 2 is adopted. Ms. Torb, is there anything you would wish to share with the commission before you?
Yes, if you don't mind, just an update on the South Holston River Corridor study. It is now posted on the county Facebook or county website right on the front page. Depending on your screen size, just scroll down. It'll be after all the county commission stuff. There is a link. It is a very large document. I think Luke and I spent a lot of time on it. And I would love for you all to read it. Let me know if you see any typos. We've proofread it many, many times. It will be heard by the Planning Commission on Tuesday. Of course, they've been reviewing it in sections all along, but it's finally all pulled together, all the maps and charts, and just welcome your input. So thank you all so much. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Jones.
Do you have any update on the engineering for the observation non-park project?
Yes, we are putting together an RFQ, the purchasing agent's office and myself to submit to get TDOT approval. And then that'll be, once they approve all the language per their consulting guidelines, then that will go out. Yeah, so we already have, we've been updating our master plan. We need to go out again and GPS some of the work that Chris has done on site to update our plan. But that will be incorporated into the RFQ. So hopefully our work GPSing the park will save on some of the engineering costs. So, yes, sir. Thank you.
Commissioner Glover.
Thank you, Mr. President. Amber, on the situation with the river project,
Yes, sir.
it's still like it was when we discussed it a couple of weeks ago. There's going to be no
Yes, sir.
changes.
No, sir.
Everything's going to stay the same like it was before.
Yes.
And these folks don't have anything to worry about moving forward as far as any changes.
That is correct. Everything I said at the Planning Commission meeting last month are still our plan recommendations.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mrs. Corbett.
Okay, thank you.
That concludes the public hearing on the zoning amendment. On the zoning amendments, without objection, public hearing is closed, and we're back on the regular calendar. Next order is public comment. Is there anyone else that didn't get an opportunity to sign that would like to?
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. My name is Clarinda Rutherford. I live on Silk Grove Road in Bluff City. I just now got a copy of this.
Hold on one second. Would you like to sign up for public comment?
Well, I have a question. What is this overlay district? Yes. I don't understand. What is this overlay district?
If you wouldn't mind, ma'am, sign our public comment sheet, and I'll recognize you when I get to you.
I'm just.
You wish to sign up for public comment again, sir?
No, I've just put the address on.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, you can come and give it to the clerk if you will. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna recognize people in order that they signed up. Victoria Hunt. If you will, please give us your name and address, and you're recognized for 3 minutes. This is not a question and answer. This is our time to hear from you. And I'll recognize you now, Ms. Hunt.
But I have lots of questions on this plan. My name is Victoria Hunt. My address is 4257 Rockhold Road, Bluff City. I just received this plan 3 hours ago. I have busted my chops to try to look through this plan to see what is going on. I will not say that they're not transparent, but things are very cloudy. The plan does not make clear on how you propose to create recreation areas on a river that is probably 90% privately owned. Also, I want to know when this plan was actually developed, because the table on page 96 about water table temperatures was pulled from September of this month. Also, I can go ahead and tell you that the access points map on page 63 is also incorrect, because I have taken 3 of those access points away and made it inaccessible to the public. I also question page 136. The second graph says there's no opposition, but if there wasn't any opposition, there wouldn't have been that many people at the last meeting. And then finally on page 154, it still puts in there as to why we're going to put an overlay district on it. Now, if we're not going to put an overlay district on it, why is it still mentioned on page 154? I have lots of questions, and nobody wants to answer them. Thank you. Oh, and also, why is there no conclusion to this plan? There was no conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hunt. Next, Georgetta Hickman. Thank you, ma'am.
I am Jaquita Hickman.
Excuse me.
That's quite all right. Nobody ever gets it right. That's why I go by G. I live at 209 Timber Ridge Road in Bluff City, Tennessee. When I was at the last Planning Commission meeting, we were informed that the taxpayers and private property owners would be allowed 2 weeks to look at this plan from the survey that's taken Ms. Torbett 18 months. I don't think 3 o'clock this afternoon allows 2 weeks before the 17th when they are going to, I'm assuming, vote for the plan, because my question was when hold on, I'll read you my question. Hold on a second. My question was, before, I wrote this out this morning. Since the zoning and planning board meeting is less than a week away, I'm curious when the emails and the landowners will be sent out the plan, or she said she would put it on it was told that it would go on the county website. But according to the notes at the last planning meeting, the planning department agreed to send out copies of the final draft 2 weeks prior to the 17th meeting for the planning commission. And my comment was, I have checked the county websites numerous times and nothing has been posted for review. The public notice on the main page states that the final plan will be considered for adoption on the 17th. However, the public notice also states that copies of the plan shall be provided by a link on the county website after the review of the plan. So I don't know what's going on, whether it's what's on the website is the truth, or if it's the comments from the last meeting is the truth. What I want to know is, and she's answered, if the 17th will be review only for the survey, or will the final plan be considered for adoption on the 17th? And I wanted to go on record asking that.
Thank you, ma'am.
And what was your answer, Ms. Torby?
Again, this is not question answer. If you,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Melinda Morrell.
I'll pass.
Gordon Mills. If you will, sir, give us your name and address and recognize you for 3 minutes. Mr. Mills.
I'm Gordon Mills. I live at 69 Rocco Road, Bluff City. And I didn't know I was to speak, but being that I'm here, I mean, I wasted a good cleanup. But anyway, at our last meeting, I hate to bring this up, but at our meeting at East High, second meeting, there was a map posted, 2 years, half a mile, on each side of the river they were going to zone. We were presented that and asked what we were going to do. And then at this meeting the other night, I said something about a half a mile, and I was told I never said that. But we've got a map, and we've got people that were there. And I think I deserve an apology from the person that said she didn't say it. I don't hear it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Clorinda Rutherford.
I'm Clorinda Rutherford. I live on Silver Grove Road in Bluff City. It says on page 157, and I truly got this after I walked in this room, and I'm trying to find what is an overlay district. Because right here it says, the purpose and objective for such future overlay district are outlined below. The district should encompass lands located within half mile of center line of the Holston River and its tributaries. I don't know what they are intending to do with, or you all, or what is the intention of this half mile overlay district when at the planning and commission meeting, we were told no zones would be changed, which I understand you don't have to have any zone changes for an overlay. So what does this mean to the landowners with a half mile overlay? And what does the overlay entail is basically my question. I would like some answers, but I don't guess I'm going to get them.
tonight? Is that possible?
These are questions for the planning commission for sure, or the mayor's office. Thank you. Anyone else seeking recognition for public comment that didn't get an opportunity to sign? For public comment?
Yes.
Okay. Recognize Commissioner Glover in the well for public comment. Public comment rules apply, Commissioner Glover.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The folks that are here tonight talking about the scenic overlay district and so forth on the river. At the meeting a couple of weeks ago, it was under my, I guess, voice from Ms. Torbett is that everything's going to stay the same. That's the reason I asked her earlier about if everything on the river was going to stay the same. The folks that's here tonight, they own a lot of property on the river. They got farms. They're very concerned, and they should be. And I live in that area, and I know how they take care of their land. I know how they take care of the river. They're good people, and they need to be addressed on this as soon as possible. And that report was supposed to have been out and for review before next week's meeting and so forth. So that's one of the things that I had. And Mr. Baker and Mr. Mills and all the other folks that live on the river, like I said, they do a good job of keeping their land neat. I remember how that river used to look before, and I know how it looks now. And it's very important to them for clarification on this. We, and I'm speaking for most of the property owners in that area, we do not want a scenic overlay district anywhere near where we live. It's going to affect our farming needs. It's going to affect everything that these folks do for a living. So we want to make it very plain. We don't want anything to do with a scenic overlay. And that needs to be made plain to these property owners also. They don't want it. They was here about 3 weeks ago and they voiced their opinion. They talked about it, and they do not want to support a scenic overlay district in that area. That's one of the things I have. The other thing that I want to talk about a month ago, the county commission worked together with the school department to work on some raises for teachers, public, of the support staff and other officials of the school department. We stuck a branch out and we worked with the school department, the school board, to make that happen in a special call meeting. Things happen in the county that it surprises me every day. And what I heard today surprises me more than anything. I got a text message today that one of our school board members that lost the last election was hired in a position. I have a very bad problem with that, because one of the things I have a problem with that is the taxpayers and the voters in that district overwhelmingly voted this person out of office. He got beat by 725 votes. And for the school board to move forward and hire this person, put him in a position at the school department underneath public relations, hiring and firing, and also in a situation where they're going to be dealing with teachers and the county commission. I've got a problem with that. And I think every commissioner in this room should have a problem with that. The school board member that got elected in that district, Todd McKinley, I think this is a kick in the face to him, and it's also a kick in the face to these county commissioners that sits in this room. Because that's the problem we've had the last 5 or 6 years, is this person. So, in closing, I want every commissioner in this room, the first resolution that I did as a county commissioner was to write a resolution, get it passed to have an elected superintendent of schools of Sullivan County. We need to send a letter to the state and say that we want that done. That will put a stop to this foolishness. This person has started out in a position making more money as he was as a school board member, and also more duties to do in the system. This is wrong. And I have zero confidence in any one of them that made this happen. So I'm asking the county commission to send letters, emails, whoever they can to the state and ask for that resolution that we passed about 6 years ago to move forward and let the taxpayers of Sullivan County elect a director of schools that's accountable to the taxpayers. And this will stop. That is all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Glover. Without objection, that concludes public comment portion of the agenda.
Can I speak one more minute
No, ma'am.
about another topic?
Another topic?
Yes.
I'll recognize you one more time.
I'm so sorry, I just now read this too, because I didn't know. Okay, I'm Jaquita Hickman, G. Hickman, from 209 Timber Ridge Road, and I wanted to talk to you all about the Catch My Breath program that I just noticed in the plan for tonight. I do encourage that this be a program that is used in Sullivan County schools as those of us that work with the public and teenagers, we know that this is a serious epidemic, this vaping situation in the schools. And if we could get that funding to the schools and to the Anti-Drug Coalition, that would be fantastic. And I would also like to implement those vaping detectors in all schools, even elementary, because there are children as young as 4th grade using these devices, these vaping devices in our county. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Without objection, public comment portion of the agenda is closed. We're back on our regular calendar under old business. Recognize Commissioner Stidham. Item number 2.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Temp. This resolution was held over last month because we had a question about the going into authorization to purchase tasers. The question was whether we could do this, and it's been cleared financially. Larry, you want to add anything to that? We can move forward as the resolution is. It will be adding $24,103.94 to the current budget year 24-25 for this, for the tasers.
Brother, you wish to speak on that?
The county, without any adverse comments.
You've heard the explanation on item number 2. Anyone seek recognition for discussion on item number 2? Commissioner Stidham, what's your...
We'll be voting on this next Thursday.
Sponsor moves item number 2 to our next scheduled calendar meeting. Without objection, recognize Commissioner Ward on item number 3.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Temp. I'd ask that this resolution be amended. Made a couple changes, met with the board Tuesday night. Zane Vanover and I went over and met with the board and explained to them what we were doing at Bloomingdale Volunteer Fire Department. That's going to be our location. The resolution is to accept a donation of up to $20,000 from the nonprofit organization Safe Haven Baby Boxes for the installation and initial maintenance and monitoring of the Safe Haven Baby Box at the Bloomingdale Volunteer Fire Department. There's 2 issues. They have a very large sign out by the road that's currently not working. And the room, that would be the ideal location, is not currently hooked up to the 24/7 generator should they have a power issue. So I had amended the resolution to, since we're at estimated cost of necessary repairs to Fire Hall's generator and updating the existing signage on the fronting of the roadway to alert the public of the baby box location, is $5,000. That's an estimate. So up to $5,000. The board approved the location. They were excited about it. They thought it was a great opportunity, and it was a great meeting. And I'd ask that everybody support this, and anyone, and next week, if anybody votes in the affirmative, we'll put you as a co-sponsor. That's a one-time $5,000 cost. That was just to fix those two issues so that we can meet all the requirements, so it could go to that location.
You've heard the explanation on resolution number 3. To recognize Commissioners Vanover on item number 3.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. I was at the meeting with Travis, and I just want to say the reason the need for the sign is to advertise where the baby box is. It doesn't do any good if no one knows where it's at. So if their digital sign's not working, I think it would behoove us to chip in and be a partner in this and help fix the sign. The generator, the need for that is in case the power's ever out and the baby's put in the box, there needs to be some backup power there to work the heat and the box, to open and close the box. So I think these are very important ideas and very good ways to support Bloomingdale Fire Department. They were very excited about this. It's a good location. It's right on a 4-lane highway. It's easy to get into. It's close to an EMS station, close to a hospital, so I don't think there could be much of a better location. So I just want to support this, and I hope everyone else will too. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Vanover. Commissioner Harvey.
Yes, I just want to be added as a co-sponsor, please.
Commissioner Ward, you wish to move this to our next calendar meeting?
I do, please.
Sponsor moves item number 3 to our next scheduled calendar meeting. Without objection, moving on to new business under item 4, recognize Commissioner Crosswhite on item number 4.
Thank you, Pro Tem. This resolution is, we're coming down to finally the approved opioid abatement funds that we received back in February the 28th of 23. The mayor, Judge Goodwin, Jeff Cassidy, Archie, excuse me, Joe Carr and myself met with three different nonprofits that we interviewed them, and they are more than qualified to handle this money. So we've got it broken down to, as you can see in here, 2006 013 20 to recover resources. Excuse me, 167 213 20 to Bridge to Shore Recovery Organizations, and $80,000 to Families Free. This is to help people that are coming out and trying to get them off of these drugs and get them back into being citizens and supporting their families and just, excuse me, helping them any way we can. So I'd like to have this on way with rules, please.
You've heard the explanation on item number 4. Recognize Commissioner Jones.
Commissioner Crosswhite, are these 3 organizations, I see one has Tennessee after it, Recovery Resources. These others, are they Tennessee-based companies? Do they have a presence in Sullivan County already?
Yes, they do. Families Free, part of the women's program is in Kingsport. The men's program is at the old prison in Carter County. But we're going to be opening, hopefully, residency here in Sullivan County. But these groups, they're established. They will help us run one when we're ready to open it.
Commissioner Glover.
Thanks, sir. Ms. Gross, what you said, all 3 of these are in Sullivan County?
They've established, no, Families Free is. The other 2, they work in Johnson City, but we're going to establish a residential program here in Sullivan County.
Okay.
Because right now we've got people in Sullivan County. I went to Johnson City, we have ladies there from Sullivan County. Of course, the prison, I think there was 1 or 2 gentlemen from Sullivan County that were located there.
So you're talking about the Carter County prison that we done?
Yes.
How many Sullivan County residents do we have over now?
Oh, Herschel at the women's, I think there was like 5 or 6. When I went to the prison, they're not inmates because they can leave anytime they want to. I'm not sure on them, 1 or 2, but We got the money, and we're gonna help our citizens here in Sullivan County to try to get off of these opioids.
Is this part of that 4 million and some dollars that we approved back
Yes, it is.
to accept?
Yes.
Okay. So we've got 2 people at the Carter County facility.
1 or 2, I'm really not sure. Because some of them, see, they go out to work. Some of them were out working, and some of them were asleep because they worked night shift.
Okay. Thanks.
Commissioner Hayes, then Commissioner Jones.
This may be a question for Larry, I'm not sure. Where is the other money that is not included in this? We start out with 735,000 and roughly end up with 450 some given to different places. Where's the rest of it going? Is Larry over?
Totally is maintained in the general fund balance.
Is it gonna wait until we find another organization to give it to? Is that what?
Until the committee decides what we're gonna do with the rest of the money.
But it's earmarked for opioid money, basically?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna come back to Commissioner Jones. Mayor just flagged me down there.
I might be able to help on this, because there's been a question about, of course, the Northeast Tennessee Recovery Center in Carter County, and the opioid funds that are funded by the Attorney General from the Attorney General's suit against major pharmaceutical companies. And then there's a fund that is people like CVS, Food City, that they pay in. That's a distribution fund. We get money from 2 sources right now, and it's money that's coming in. I believe we have, prior to this, $2.1 million in the Attorney General's fund and the distribution fund. There's a time limit on the Attorney General's fund, and that money is coming out of those funds, not the $3.5 million that you contributed to the Northeast Tennessee Recovery Center. That money's spent, people are being treated. This money must be distributed as you see fit and must be approved by you. It's $2.3 million or $2.1 million right now. Through 2035, we will receive over $4 million in these lawsuit funds. And of course, some of them, such as Food City, CVS, Walgreens, that have to pay fines based on court cases, that money is unrestricted. But with the Attorney General's funds, which is the majority of the money, we have to have their permission. It has to be an approved group. And the groups that Joyce is talking about right now are all licensed by the state. One of them is operating in Carter County now with about 3 homes. The other one's Families Free, who is running they have a 9-woman house in Johnson City. I think some of the commissioners have been there and visited, and they're proposing to have a house here in Sullivan County. Each one of them is proposing to have a treatment center. Recovery Resources has been working with Judge Goodwin for a number of years on his drug court. And Recovery Resources, I believe, has 9 or 10 houses in communities that are peer managed, and there'll be anywhere from 4 to 6. Travis, you're aware of Recovery Resources.
Absolutely.
And so Judge Goodwin, and my question was, where do Recovery Resources get them? And they get them through the courts and through your program. So there's 2 different funds, the Attorney General's fund, and of course my office reports to them as we do those. There is an opioid committee, that advisory group that met last week with these 3 applicants. And we'll have more people apply for this money. And of course, all those applications will either be recommended or not recommended by the Opioid Advisory Committee, and then forwarded on to you for your approval. Hope that helps.
Thank you, Mayor.
And by the way, next Thursday night, Judge Goodwin and all the principals and these applicants will be here to answer your questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Means.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize if you've answered a couple of these questions, and I just have, how long will Sullivan County receive these funds?
Until the money's out.
Until the money runs out. Okay, then that bears another question, is what happens to Sullivan County when the funds do run out? Are we still responsible for still putting that money out there?
Yeah, but hopefully, we're gonna help enough people. If we help one person get off of drugs, then we've done our job. We've done our job, so.
Okay. How long has this nonprofit been allocated? Was it 4 years, 5 years, did you say?
It's been 4 or 5 years. They're well established. I mean, you'll be impressed when they come in here to speak.
So do you know how much longer that they'll be allocating this money to Sullivan County?
No, I don't.
Does the mayor know?
2035, we will.
35, sorry.
35. Okay, thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ward.
Thank you, sir. Joyce, can I not ask a question, but make a comment on your resolution?
Yes, please.
I see where Sam and Herschel are going with this. Why are we sending money to Carter County? And I think there's one in Elizabeth and John City. Some of those, we don't have housing like they do over there, but we have people on a daily basis from Sullivan County Jail and Sullivan County going to these facilities. I was just, today's Tuesday, picked 2 ladies up and transported them to court, took them back to the facility over in Johnson City. The Family's Free bunch, man, that's a very large group. And Marissa Miller, Deputy Miller, teaches that organization. That's 40 to 50 females from the Sullivan County Jail that attend it also. So all these programs get inmates from our facility. It's just unfortunate that we don't have some of those, that housing or that location inside Sullivan County, and that's something that we need to look at as a commission. And I see that look on somebody's face. Why do we keep sending money here and here? We don't have those programs here in Sullivan County. We don't have that house that houses those men, 10 or 15 or 20 of them. But they do over there, and that's why they let us use. So that's why we contribute some, because there's a lot of inmates that come from the Sullivan County Jail that go over there, use those.
And Travis, thank you for that. And that is something that this committee is looking at in the future, is to have a facility here. But we need somebody to run it, and these organizations are already established. So.
Commissioner Means.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have another question. I think the mayor said they'll be here next Thursday. Will they be explaining what their programs are? Families Free will say who came out of it and who's living successfully now and all that. Okay, thank you.
And I encourage anyone, I took a tour of Johnson City, the ladies, and I went on up to the prison. I encourage anyone to get a tour because it's interesting, and we need to help our people here in Sullivan County stay here.
Commissioner Ward.
Sorry, sometimes I can't help myself. While we're on this topic, and speaking of locations, the old hay house down on downtown Kingsport has been sitting empty for a while. It's time to get that place back open and up and running.
That clears the board. Commissioner Crosswell, I'll give you final word on item number 4. What's your desire for item number 4?
Like I said, these groups will be in here to speak to you next week, asking questions. They know what they're doing, and I'd like to have this on waiver rules, and let's get these people staying here in Sullivan County and help them get off these drugs.
Commissioner Crosswhite, who's item number 4 of our next scheduled meeting next Thursday. Without objection, Without objection, recognize Commissioner King on item number 5.
Thank you, Pro Tem. This resolution is to authorize the county mayor to sign a contract for TDOT project PN number 128634.71 for safety improvements near Bluff City, including Mountain View Road. That should be Mountain View Road through the TDOT Local Road Safety Initiative. The TDOT has come up with a program to help put up a lot of safety signs, mainly along railroads. And if you go over a couple pages, you can see the different signs and what all they're wanting to do. TDOT has signed an agreement with Norfolk Southern Railroad regarding their property that these signs will be put along and also maintained by the railroad company. And TDOT has asked Sullivan County to sign an agreement to accept ownership and future maintenance of these road improvements. And then in the next whereas, it kind of says the same thing again, but I don't think we need to have the same sentence twice. You know? We could strike one of those sentences because it says the same thing in this. Or just take out that whole whereas, because it does say that, you know, that Sullivan County has signed an agreement to accept the ownership and maintenance of the road improvements, and then it comes down and says the same thing again. I think we need to strike that second whereas. And then it goes on to say that the county attorney advises the full commission to vote by majority to authorize this due to future expenses, because we're going to have to maintain this. It's not any money up front now, but in some time we'll have to maintain these signs and, you know, repair and whatever. So at some time we would probably have to maybe spend money on them. That's the way I understand it. Is that true? Okay. So with that said, and you can see what they're going to put out through there, and this has been a pretty dangerous, especially where Mountain View Road and well, this is Main Street of Piney Flats where it's at, and there needs to be some more signs and stuff to help the safety for these people across the railroad track, and also to help the railroad with their safety where, you know, because a lot of times there's trains stop in this stretch, and there's these cars, they don't have any way to access Tank Hill Road, and so that's what a lot of these signs are for, is try to, you know, improve safety of this area. I think it's something we need to do, and like I said, it's no money up front now, but sometime in the future we will probably have to maintain these signs. So with that said, I would like to move this forward to the next Thursday, and hopefully everybody will vote in affirmative for this, and we can get some signs up. And if anybody wants to read the contract with the railroad and all that, we can do that, but there's a lot of reading, and I think our county attorney has looked over that, and if you agree with everything that's in that, I think we're good to go. All right.
You've heard the explanation on item number 5. Recognize Commissioner Akert on item number 5.
I've just got a curiosity question, really, because in one of the first whereases, the Tennessee Department of Transportation is set to begin safety improvements, long planned for roadways under the maintenance of the Sullivan County Highway Department. But then it's authorizing the mayor, which, I mean, I understand elections and positions. But, I mean, I would assume this all falls under the highway department, doesn't it?
Yes, yes.
I see the, yeah. So
Yes.
I was just curious why one over the other. Doesn't really matter to me as long as we get it done. I was just curious.
Recognize Commissioner Iverson on item number 5.
Just one thing for Commissioner King. Hey, Dwight, just one thing for you. Where you dropped off the second whereas instead of the first one, you might want to just reverse that. Because the second one has a lot more to it than that first one does, so it repeats, but it has more data, more stuff to it, so. Just a suggestion, because I don't think we're gonna drop out of that stuff.
I didn't write this, and, you know, I was given this, and after I got to reading it again, yes. But anyway, it was, I would take your suggestion, and if we wanna.
Commissioner King, you're recognized, sir.
You got a gavel up there, sir.
You-
We got somebody down here.
You have the floor, Commissioner King. Just Commissioner King.
But anyway, let's do that. We'll strike the first whereas and put the second. Am I really confusing you? Okay, you got it. And then the Mountain View Road, got that. Okay. All right, we're done. I'm consent. No, we can't do consent. I'm sorry. No, we gotta have our majority vote. Okay, let's do it next Thursday. All right.
Thank you, Commissioner King. Sponsor moves item number 5 to our next scheduled calendar meeting next Thursday. Without objection.
We need a co-sponsor on that. There's not one listed.
Well, we've got one on here, and it's.
Well, I don't have it on here, though.
It's on our electronic copy.
Okay. All right.
I don't have any sponsors on my paper copy, so just bear with me on that.
Right.
Recognize, we don't have a sponsor for item number 6. Does anyone wish to be the sponsor on item number 6? We need a co-sponsor as well. I saw Commissioner Crosswhite and Commissioner Jones, Mr. Akert. So I'll recognize Commissioner Crosswhite on item number 6.
Thank you, President. I am the chairman of the Sullivan County Health Council, so we did have a meeting on this last week. And this program is for the settlement reimbursement for the Catch My Breath program. In other words, it's not just smoking anymore, it's vaping. So it would be a $12,169.82 that we would receive to do this program. So pretty set and dry. Salary 75, Social Security is for somebody, 475, state retirement, employee Medicare, and other supplies and maintenance. So it's to help with the vaping in the school system.
You've heard the explanation. Any questions, comments on item number 6? Commissioner Glover. Then Commissioner Cross. Commissioner Glover.
The new person that they just hired over there, Commissioner Crosswhite, is he gonna be responsible for this program?
For the school system, no,
Does
sir.
it fall under that?
No, sir, this will be out of the health department.
Okay, so it says school department.
Well, I'm pretty sure, no, this says Department of Education, but they will be working, I don't know who will be over it, but it will go through the health department.
Commissioner Cross.
Now, that does bring up a question for me, because I was first gonna ask, obviously, this is gonna be someone hired, and I'm all for it. I see this every day. But now that makes me wonder, and I'm just for clarification, is this someone who works for the health department or someone who works in the school
They
system?
will be working with the health department.
With the health department, but
Yes.
funded by the school system, because
Yes.
this money goes to the school department.
Yes.
All right. I'll leave it. Thank you.
Commissioner Iverson.
Just more of a procedural thing. Normally we look at these and we talk about consent, but if I'm not mistaken, number 6, number 7, and number 9 are being voted on at their meeting right now. So we really don't know if this is what's coming out of their meeting right now. So we probably should at least put these on waiver rules at most, because we don't know if this is the actual official what comes out of it, so.
We haven't seen their,
Yeah, I mean, just,
I haven't seen their agenda.
because their meeting started after hours, so I mean, if it comes through, fine, but we need to not put consent in.
I agree to put these on, this one on waiver.
You've heard the explanation on item number 6. Recognize Commissioner Jones on item number 6.
One of the ladies that spoke in favor of this said that it was going not through the Department of Education, but through our drug, I forgot the program, that we operate in the county that's in the schools, but it wasn't the school system that operates it. And I say put it on first readings where we know what's going on, not waiver rules.
Commissioner Ray.
All right, I had a long day, so I was going to try to be nice. This is the exact reason there should not be resolutions sitting on our desk to discuss without proper sponsor or co-sponsor. And I understand every now and then why, but that's one of my biggest pet peeves is when we come in here and then we're looking at resolutions that have no, and so now we're all like, is it the Department of Education, is it Department of Health? I don't know. We'll figure it out when someone actually wants to bring a regular resolution, properly sponsored, properly co-sponsored, and stop wasting our time.
Thank you, Commissioner Eckert. You've heard the explanation on item number 6. Anyone else seeking recognition on item number 6?
I'd like to finish by saying this will be a coordinated between education and the health department, and we did have a lady speak on this for our last meeting, and I'm just glad we're doing it, whoever does it, so, because the need is there.
Commissioner Cross.
I apologize, Chairman. I kept reading here, and I will say that it does say further down, if you look in the now therefore be it resolved, it does speak of recognize the Department of Education, Sullivan County Department of Education, to recognize said reimbursement not to exceed. So it is probably coming from the health department to reimburse the school system. And I want to clarify, I didn't read far enough to answer my own question. I apologize.
Commissioner Cross, what is the action you wish to take?
I'll put it on first reading next, everybody has it, okay?
So you defer it to next week's?
Yes.
Commissioner Crosswhite moves item number 6 to our next calendar meeting next Thursday. Without objection. Without objection, we have item number 7, and we don't have sponsors for item number 7. Does anyone wish to be the sponsor of item number 7 and co-sponsors? First, I have to have sponsors and co-sponsors before I can recognize anybody. Does anybody wish to be the sponsor or co-sponsor on item number 7? I'll be the co-sponsor. Recognize Commissioner Vanover, and now I'll recognize you, Commissioner King, on item number 7. Commissioner Vanover.
This is a new one on me. I've not seen this before, but if it's just recognizing a public school security grant for the 24-25 budget year, there's no matching money apparently. I don't see any reason not to accept this grant. And now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Sullivan County assembled a regular session hereby authorize the county Department of Education to recognize said grant funds not to exceed the above amount, $10,935. The revenue and expenditure account codes are listed below. Don't see any reason not to accept that money. Ask us to do so.
You've heard the explanation from Commissioner Vanover. Recognize Commissioner King on item number 7.
I hate to sound like Mr. Akers, but I agree with him 100%. Of this stuff coming in here from the schools department, I know this has happened several different times, and they send stuff over here that's not right, and then we have to kind of go through it and figure it out. If they can't get their stuff right before they send it over here, don't send it till you get it right. And I think we ought to defer this stuff till they get it right before they send it over here to us. And
That'll be up to the sponsor of the resolution.
But this is not the first time this has happened. This has happened several times in the last 2 or 3 years. Stuff is sent over here, especially from the Department of Education, and it's not right when it gets here. And then they expect us to pass it. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Commissioner King. Recognize Commissioner Vanover.
I agree with both of you guys. I've not seen this before, but I don't know if there's any time constraints on this. If you don't get it passed, I don't know if there's a chance of losing the money. That's all I'm considering. And maybe by next week, if you see it acceptable, I'll try to get some information about this and be more prepared to answer questions.
Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you. I just have a question on this. Does this have anything to do with the SROs that are being paid by the?
First time I've seen that. I had no idea. But it's grant money, and I just don't want to take a chance on losing the grant money.
Yeah, I think we need a little more detail about.
You want
what
to ask for it to put on first reading? Would that be comfortable?
I'd like to know if it has anything to do with the SROs, the supposed funding.
If there's anyone here to answer that, I don't know.
I can't answer for sure, but I don't think so. Because they got some funds in addition to the SRO fund. And this, it's in addition. There's separate funds, the way this reads to me at least.
So would the commission be comfortable by putting this on first reading? Can we find out more information?
Sponsor moves item number 7 to next week's calendar meeting next week. Without objection, item number 8. Recognize Commissioner Vanover on item number 8.
Item number 8 is a resolution to authorize personal property tax and delinquent tax recovery program. This is brought to us by excuse me, our trustee, Angela Taylor. She actually presented it to the Financial Management Committee this morning. She couldn't be here this evening. It's simply a program, a way to try to recover money. We do a good job trying to recover delinquent real property tax because you know what property is. There's a way to recover that. Personal property that's been delinquent is a little tougher to find, it's a little tougher to recover, it's a little tougher to try to recover the money. So this is just an organization. It's I'll finish reading the resolution. The Commissioners of Sullivan County Assembly Regular Session hereby approves the Sullivan County Trustee Angela Taylor to enter a contract with vendor service agreement with American Financial Credit Services for the collection of delinquent personal property taxes at no cost to Sullivan County. She says currently that personal property taxes that are delinquent just kind of roll off the books. There's not much attempt to try to recover those, and she says up to $100,000 a year can be left on the table by not trying to recover these funds. So I'd ask that we support this, and I would ask for it to be put on consent.
You heard the explanation on item number 8. Sponsor moves consent of item number 8. Anyone have any questions for the sponsor on the resolution? Commissioner Jones, you're recognized.
None of the rest of us other than that 3 committee have heard the discussion from Angela about this. It's the first time I've ever heard of this. I would like to hear her explanation of why and who's paying this company if it's no cost. So
The company charges the person that they're collecting the money from the fee.
yeah.
They're the ones who pay on top of the fee that they're recovering. They pay on top of that, so there's no danger of Sullivan County ever losing a penny on this.
Well, I would like to have asked the trustee to come and explain it to us, and would oppose consent.
I'm sure she'd be glad to do that, but I think we're pretty well versed in the program. What questions do you have?
I've never heard of it before, Zane. So you 3 may have heard it, the explanation from her, but the rest of us didn't. I'd like to hear a little bit more about it.
Can we ask for waiver of rules?
But you can defer it till next week's calendar.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bailey.
Mr. Jones, I'd have to agree with you. I hadn't heard of this service before. However, I was aware that in most cases, personal property taxes that aren't paid before they become delinquent fall through the cracks and don't get collected. It takes a personal pursuit to collect that, and most, not just this county, any county I've ever dealt with, it dropped for all practical purposes.
I hope she can be here this weekend. I'm not sure what her schedule is, but she asked us to try to explain for her, but I think it's a no-lose situation. So we'll put it on first reading if that's the will of the commission.
Recognize,
waiver of rules.
Recognize Commissioner Glover.
Angela sent an email or text message this morning that she wanted to come and present this to the finance committee, and the reason why, there's some other counties that's using this similar, really this program. And what they do, she provides them with the information, they get into contact with these people, they do all the groundwork, they do all the upfront work, and then the percentage is added on to what they collect for those folks to pay. County's not out of anything. We're not out of any money. We're not out of any employees. We're not out of any time frame. The company that collects this, when they add the fee on, the person that owes the taxes, they pay that. And then that total amount comes back to the county. So that's how they get paid. We're not in any obligation at all as far as paying this company or providing this company any type of financial help. They're collecting the money for us, and just like she said this morning, for the last couple of years, they've collected pretty close to about 80–90% of what they've went after. So that's what it is, and it was an ideal that she had, just like Larry said and like Zane said. Some of this money is falling through the cracks. When you do $100,000 this year, $100,000 next year, $200,000, next thing you know, we're up to $500,000, and the longer it goes, the harder it is to collect. So I think it's a good idea that Angela's got. She presented it this morning, and I'm sure she has no problem coming in next week. She had to spend some time with her mother tonight, or she'd be here tonight. That's what she explained this morning. But that's what it's all about. And I mean, if we can collect the money and it's not costing us anything, I think it's a great program, and I'm for it. So the sponsor, if he wants to call her or touch base with her tomorrow, invite her for next week, I think it'd be great. But that's the way she explained it to all of us this morning.
And there's no long-term contract. There's no binding contract. It's year to year. If it's a program that doesn't work out, or if there's some loopholes that we don't know about, you can be dropped after the first year. So don't see any downside to it, but I'm sure waiver rules won't be a problem. That's what makes everyone comfortable.
Commissioner Vanover moves item number 8 to next Thursday's scheduled calendar. Without objection, item number 9. Item number 9 doesn't have a sponsor. Does anyone wish to be the sponsor of item number 9? If it would be out of order, I'm happy to do it, and or I can be a co-sponsor, whichever. Either way. I'll go ahead and sponsor item number 9, and Commissioner Vanover will be the co-sponsor, and I will move this without objection. I will move this to next Thursday's calendar, where we'll take it up at the full commission without objection. That brings us to the end of our resolution calendar. Anyone have any announcements? Commissioner Jones and Commissioner Aker.
Please remember Commissioner Darlene Dowden. She had knee replacement last week, and is pretty painful. I talked to her this morning. She just needs to keep taking those pain pills, but she's probably going to be out for at least a month, not be at any meetings. So keep her in your prayers.
Commissioner Aker, then Mayor Venable.
Thank you, Chairman Pro Tem. Just want to say, we got a big weekend in Bristol this weekend with Rhythm and Roots. So we should see some nice tourism dollars coming in, especially with some of that hotel tax. If you get up in Bristol, come see us. We'd love to have you. And thank you very much.
Mayor Venable.
If I may, and David, are you performing on one of the streets? That's good. just informally here if I can, maybe help. I don't know if it clarified or complicated the situation, but we've sit back here watching. I know there's some questions about what we do here, and I know there's been some discussion about this meeting. County Attorney and I have had a discussion about what this meeting really is and what can or should happen here. This was established as a work session. No official action is that it can be taken because it's not ever been advertised to the public as a meeting where you would take official action. You cannot enter a bill on first, or a resolution on first reading tonight, or waiver of the rules. You, as chairman or sponsor of the resolution, will determine that in an official meeting, whether you want it on first reading or whether you want to waive the rule with immediate introduction of it. You can't do that tonight. Now, I know previously also we have forwarded a consent calendar. That under an informal meeting probably is not proper. You should request a consent to be put on the consent calendar as a sponsor of a resolution to John before he prepares the resolutions next week. If you give him a resolution, you should say, I'm requesting that this be put on consent calendar. And it should be properly handled during the meeting, during the official meeting. This is not an official meeting. It's not, we do have an official meeting before this for planning and zoning, and you did that and requested that, and Amber requested that so that planning and zoning could get the attention that it felt like it deserved without wearing the commission out on commission night. But if you'll notice on your agenda, that meeting is adjourned before this meeting starts. This meeting started, work session started well before I got into the chair or back with the commission, and it was just an informal discussion. So you don't, you mentioned the sponsorship. We've had great discussions on that, and David, I appreciate what you said, and Dwight, what you said. And you can just say, don't bring us a resolution without a sponsor on it. The discussion I had when, before John came to work with us, is that somebody would call up for a resolution, and they don't have a sponsor, whether it's the Department of Education, whether it's the Health Department, or whoever. It's their responsibility to get one of you to sponsor their legislation. It's up to you if you have a resolution to be the sponsor of it. It's not up to me or John or Chairman Pro Tem or anybody else to find a sponsor for a resolution, whoever generates it. If they don't have a sponsor, I don't disagree with you. Don't bring it until you have a sponsor. But having said that, this is informal. And you have them on there tonight because I told John to put them on there to see if somebody really wanted to discuss that, or if a department had asked anybody to be a potential sponsor. So it's up to you, really. You let us know whether you want to see resolutions that haven't got a sponsor yet. Because this is an informal discussion. You're not passing it on first reading. You're not making a motion to waive the rules. And when you pass it on first reading, you're making a motion to pass on first reading. So I don't think we've ever been really clear. And as chair, I've not been really clear sometime on what work session is. Not an official meeting. It's not anything you can take official action on. It's just a meeting of commissioners to discuss things. And if you don't even have to have your resolution through this. As you know, you can get a resolution filed tomorrow. It'll be heard next week at your regular meeting. So it's a courtesy to get it filed here for us to get it to you. So you could discuss it if you want to. But if you have a resolution, you don't have to talk about it tonight in this work session this afternoon. I'm not ready to present that. When we're official, I'll talk to you about it. It's up to you. Thank you. I hope I haven't complicated things.
Well, and I didn't want to correct anybody on the floor. That was why you may have noticed, some of you, that when you would make a motion for waiver or first reading, I would prompt you to move it to next week's calendar, because that was my intentions there to.
John, I do the same, I've done the same thing. I do the same thing.
That's why you sort of see me, like I'm taking off, I'm like, just move it to next week, that's all you gotta do.
But anytime you all have, from the chairman's chair, from the mayor's chair, anytime you all have suggestions to have this meeting and be better, just let us know. We'll bring it before the group, we'll vote on it. We'll just do a hand vote. You can do a hand vote right now if you want to see resolutions with no sponsors. So it's really up to you. This is your meeting, and you can talk about what you want to.
They're telling me your 3 minutes is up.
Mr. Chairman, you've lost control.
Yes, failed.
I'm not answering any question.
Does anyone else have any other announcements that they'd like to make to the commission? Any other announcements? Motion to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Stand adjourned till Thursday next. Thank you.